turn up the sound if I can. Where's my mouse? There you are. My touchpads. There you are. My touchpad. Okay, so everybody, this is Kayla from LAPS. We're at LAPS. We're going to make a little video to show people what happens when we run out of ISO space at LAPS and why the ISO Oasis is such an important project. And so Kayla is going to tell us who you have there.
Well, this is little Bootsy. Boots came in probably about a month ago now, covered in ringworm all over his tail and face. He's now completed his 21 days of treatment, so that's, we use itraconazole and then also bathing him twice a week and disinfecting this room completely. He's now just gone for his first fungus day as of yesterday, so that takes 2 weeks to get the results.
Good, okay, and so what happens when a shelter is full and you get a kitten like Boots?
Well, when we actually got Boots in, both our isolation rooms were completely full with ringworm in both ISOs. So we had to, because some of the kittens were a little bit further along on their treatments, we had to move everyone around. So one of our litters, the Sandlot litter now, who has all been adopted, actually came into our grooming room. And then Boots had to go into one of our ISO rooms, and then we had to move a bunch of other cats around just because we didn't have enough space to put all the kittens.
And so when you say move everyone around, you basically have to disinfect from top to bottom.
Yes.
And replace all the bedding.
Yes.
And replace all the bedding.
Exactly. So we have to disinfect the entire room, so everything that's in the room from top to bottom, and basically replace everything that's in there to allow the new visitor coming to stay into the room. And it takes quite a long period of, it takes quite a few hours, when especially there's generally only 2 staff members here at a time. Switches your whole day around when something like that happens, right? But
so, and every time you go in and out of a room, what is the protocol you follow to keep the fungus and the spores and things inside?
We have to, so basically every time we go into a room, we have to gown and glove up. So, and when we come out, we have to take everything off. So we have to wear new pants over our pants, and then a new scrub top over our scrub, and then put on booties on our feet so that we don't transfer anything from our shoes to around the shelter. And we also have to wear gloves. So when we're coming out of the ISO, we have to take everything off so that we're not transferring anything around the shelter.
So, and with the current setup, when you leave this room, you're in a very busy hallway.
Yes. This is one of our main hallways for walking dogs from our adoptable side to the play yards, and our food prep room is directly across from here. So basically, and we have healthy animals living in there. Generally, there's a couple dogs and cats, and it's where the girls get all the dogs' food ready and everything like that. So it's quite a busy area of the shelter.
So you have to spend a lot of extra time and effort to make really
yes.
sure that you're not bringing anything out of this room into that.
All the doors, the doorknobs on a daily basis. Generally, all the hallways get disinfected. It's obviously not ideal because we're still you're taking off, going out directly into the hallway, and then you have to come back and disinfect everything. So there's that time for. Yeah,
there's still a risk, right? Mm-hmm. And something like ringworm is contagious not only from cat to cat, but also to dogs, to humans. So, in these hallways, you've got the animal control officers, the dogs that are coming in from animal control calls, the other dogs, lots of cats, lots of people, volunteers. So it really, you guys spend a lot of time
probably trying to disinfect.
Yeah, trying to keep things contained. So this, right now, we're in the grooming room, right?
We are. So this isn't an ideal place to house ringworm, but when our other isolation rooms are full, we have to prioritize. So because Boots is a little bit further along on his treatment, we're able to put him in here to keep our other isolation rooms used for higher risk cases. So in here it's not ideal because it's harder to disinfect, and there's lots of different areas the cats can go under into different nooks and crannies that make it harder to clean later on. And it is also our grooming room. So when we have a ringworm case or something that's contagious in here, we aren't able to use this room for its proper functions, which is bathing our dogs and different animals that come into the shelter. So it does, generally when we have ringworm in here, it means none of the dogs get bathed.
Wow. So that's a big problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and if you look around kind of what Kayla is talking about, all of these little surfaces are potential places where ringworm spores can accumulate, or under the cages, in the corners. See, he wants to go right under the cages. That's always a favorite place.
And it makes it difficult too when you, he's a more outgoing kitten, but when you have a bit more shy litters and they come in here and they run under there, then you have to try to get them out to give them their medication daily. Basically, hard not to risk putting yourself in jeopardy too, because you have to get quite close to the floor to get them out.
Yeah, that's a good point. So do you guys regularly get ringworm?
Quite a few of us have had ringworm since we've been here, and then we bring it into our homes, and then our animals generally have gotten it. We are, I think, fairly good at doing lots of disinfecting, but it does still happen.
Yeah, I know the protocol you follow is super time consuming, and I think you do an amazing job considering how many chances there are for the ringworm to spread. But like you said, if you had a proper facility, you would have to spend a lot less time, and it would be a lot less risky to you to
the other animals in the shelter.
Yeah, so it would be safer and it would be less time.
And it would also help prevent us using up different rooms that are supposed to be used for different functions, but then when we're overfilled with too many sick cats, there's nothing we can do about it, right? So
yeah, that's a bummer. So what do you think about the isoasis?
I'm very excited about it. I think that it would provide us with proper space to be able to take care of all the cats that we bring in and provide them with the right treatment and give them space to run around, and because we're basically, our plan is to have isolation rooms, right? So that the cats have areas to go to different perks and ledges. They'll be able to be in a low stress kind of environment, right? And it's also going to be able to keep the cats that are sick in a different area than the cats that are healthy cats in the shelter, right? So
completely different. So the sick ones will never even come into the healthy side.
So then it's going to be way easier to control like the spread of different diseases.
And you mentioned about stress. So for example, a room like this with no windows and it's fairly noisy.
Yeah.
How does that affect
It does affect them because they get obviously some litters are different, but when they hear the dogs barking, I see a lot of kittens, they go and scatter into different areas, and because a lot of this room and our isolation rooms, they are so close to where the dogs are on a regular basis. You can see even him right here, he can hear a dog barking, and he's a definitely way more confident kitten, but he got a little like, what is that?
Find a place to hide. So, and I know stress is proven to increase the
prolonged them getting better, right? So obviously providing them with low stress housing is going to get them in and out of our shelter faster and get them healthier faster.
And for less money, which is also important. So again, it would allow you to be able to rescue more cats. And treat and that's good. That's good. So we're pretty excited about the isoasis.
And it's also, hopefully we're going to have our cat intake is the plan to be in there, right? And currently we don't have a space for our cat intake room, right? So also too, we're using a room for we use our training room for our cat intake room right now, which is supposed to be the training room, so where we bring the dogs to train them and give them lessons and things like that, and it can be quite inconvenient when someone has a lesson and then someone brings in a cat, it's like, where do you go, right? So then we have to use different areas of our shelter, and then it becomes risky to the other animals in our shelter because you never know when an animal comes in if it's going to be carrying.
That's true.
Or
In fact, that happened this summer. Tell them.
And replace everything to give them kind of a fresh start after they get their ringworm back. But on a daily basis, we just do more like daily cleaning.
Yeah.
So it's not, because obviously removing their bed is pretty stressful for.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. Okay. Well, I think that's pretty good. Thank you, Kayla.
Our supervisor and also trainer and adoption counselor.
Excellent. Okay. Well, programming. Say goodbye to. Oh, and also, when will booths be available for adoption?
Hopefully with.
Area, so it's another high traffic area. So then, how long does it take you guys to disinfect?
Basically that out, and I believe that night too is we got another kitten in that later that night. But basically, so I had to disinfect almost every area of our shelter, and so hopefully it's 2 negatives. Would hopefully
it's just to make sure that he doesn't get reinfected and that he's truly negative and safe to go
out into the public.
So, and with dogs, kids, what's his?
He came from a household where there was dogs, and the people in the house, like, they said, I need cats, and since he's been here, he hasn't been with any other cats because of him having ringworm.
Right. Well, all right. Thank you, Kayla, and thank you for watching. I will switch you back to Kittens of Oz if I can. Otherwise, it will be about 10 minutes, but it should be sooner. Okay. Bye.